Hi, my name is Clare Rowan. I'm from the University of Warwick, and I wanted to share my experience of using Nomisma for a project that's not necessarily focused on coins, but on ancient tokens. And this was part of a project I had funded from the ERC. So I decided to use Nomisma simply because it was sort of widely accepted within numismatics, and it was in a sense an infrastructure where a lot of stuff was already set up. I also found that as someone coming to Nomisma sort of from the outside, I was able to contribute also to the ontology and sort of expand it to sort of suit my needs and my material. And everyone's been kind of very helpful in doing that. So to add things to Nomisma, what I would do is create essentially a Google Docs Excel spreadsheet. This is one that I was making of token issuers from the Roman world, which is not yet in Nomisma, because the issue of token issuers became a little bit complicated. But for various other things like materials and types of objects, I've created similar spreadsheets that have then been imported into Nomisma and become part of the ontology. So I can attest everyone is very friendly and responsive to new projects and new needs. So for the tokens database, we use NumaShare. This is a scene behind the scenes. We don't have an Ethan Gruber permanently on hand to transform our Excel spreadsheets into functioning databases. And also my project is really not about publishing an already existing corpus, but in turn, it's one that's creating a corpus. So we've sort of gone for this live data entry model, but I'll show you how it works. So we've got two databases. One is the token types, and one is individual specimens of those types. So essentially, to use a coin analogy, this would be the equivalent of the RIC number, and these are all the individual examples that are in museums. So you can find the public facing interface is live, although our data entry is not yet finished and still continues, which is why it's not necessarily a very well published database yet. So for us to create entries, we go to create new coin or metal. And we put in record IDs. So for instance, if I was doing an Athenian coin, it's a Sporonos number. And so that's standardized across, the database. We make sure that the formatting of these is always the same. So same here, Sporonos 234, just to give you an example. And then what we have is the language, the ontology from Nomisma is pulled into the database. So we immediately, by entering the data, already link it. So you can see the types of objects that now exist in Nomisma. So amulets, badges, casting waste, that was us. Contorniates, that was also us. Dyes, flans, matrices, molds. This is also something we use in the study of making tokens. But you can sort of see, even now, toy money, what is available. Tessera, if you want to use that, or token. So I would call this a token. And we put in both sides. And again, so by bringing up different options, you can, it connects into Nomisma, the language here. For entities, so if I have a portrait, for instance, of Nero on a token, I can bring that up. And so here is Nero. Yes, the emperor is what I mean, select. I've also planned to feed in some additional portraits into Nomisma, which are found on tokens and not on coins. So yeah, you can see sort of what's involved. Authorities, for tokens, we don't deal with this. But for coins and other objects you would, and again you search directly within Nomisma and it pulls through. So someone who's not particularly tech savvy or doesn't have on-hand tech support all the time. We just sort of have short bursts at Warwick. Having this sort of foolproof approach was best. And again, you can sort of choose search nomisma for the region. So Greece is probably the wrong word, IKEA, for the region that the coin or token comes from. And we can put references down here. Then for the specimens, go back to the collections list, same sort of idea. So you can create new coin or metal. And then what's fun if you're entering in a lot of specimens, I know this isn't necessarily the fastest route, but it's what us old academics like me like to do. Oh, sorry, I pressed the wrong thing here. If you have the URI of the type, so say I had a token and it was type TERS73, I can put that in here. So as the typological description of my token, I just put in the web resource, enter, and all the data is pulled through. So say this was like, I don't know, British Museum, like 1898, 21. And again, this is standardized across the database. You can bring in the descriptions there and put in sort of physical aspects of the objects, again, references, find spots. So in our database, we have put in quite a lot of find spots, and that connects to geonames. If you have a strange site, like an archaeological site that's not more widely known, you can put in the latitude and longitude yourself. I've had to do that a few times. And we can add in, of course, images as well. So the obverse and the reverse. And as I say, that basically brings us to the other side. And again, we chose to use NumaShare simply because it was sort of standardized. But then the data then is all contained in nomisma. So, and then for finds, you can create things, like maps, tokens, they're found everywhere. And then people who want to use the data can pull it out the other side using NUDs, which, I'm slowly learning, Sparkle endpoints, et cetera, but those in the know do know how to do that. So this is just a very short overview to demonstrate that you can use nomisma for more than tokens, and that the ontology is there to sort of be added to and expanded as needed. Thank you very much.